Podcast listeners, Al here again. This is part 2 with Marco Rota on Lumen's technology transformation. Part 1 was last week. If you missed it, it stresses their cultural transformation. This week is their technology transformation. So enjoy your drive, or maybe you're getting a workout in. Good for you. Here we go.
Let's go.
You're listening to Making Data Simple, where we make the world of data effortless, relevant, and yes, even fun.
So let's transition to technology. So let me say a few things about Lumen relative to what I know. Mm-hmm. And look, if it's wrong, just correct me. I know you're a sizable organization involved with many of the industries that IBM is involved with, governments like enterprise consumers. But what I do know, many of the listeners may not know, you've got the largest fiber backbone in the world.
Correct.
And I don't want to undermine all the other stuff you're doing, but that is like a cornerstone in my mind of putting everything together. And it's like a moat, if you will, that you have. But do you see it the same way? And elaborate on that.
100%. And to use Brené Brown's terms, yes, and we are wholly owned, which means that we can do things on our network that others can't. We have visibility end to end in a way that no one else does, to be able to help make sure that the network is as performant as possible. But also, anecdotally, bad actors on our network, we can act on them because we own it. We can remove those tenants that are bad actors. Other companies that do the same thing that don't wholly own their network, they need to come to us to have them act on it. So it adds time to that whole process. But we have things like Black Lotus Labs, which is a security company that they do a lot of things, most of which we're not actually allowed to talk about because it's all government top secret things. But we can do things with our network that others can't. And we're continuing to grow that. And, for a lot of the things that we're working on together, IBM and Lumen, it also means that we're eating our own dog food and we're investing in the things that work for us, that work for customers, which means that we're consistently improving the tooling that we use for our networks. And we're able to respond faster. Composable networks, network as a service. We're doing these things because we can, because it's our network.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So elaborating on that a bit more, what are some of the major transformational use cases that you're currently involved with that you're willing to share with us?
Oh, sure. I mean, there's one that I just mentioned, which is network as a service, which is being able to set up a network for a period of time that you need it, scale it as appropriate, and only pay for what you use. That's transformational. We have 4,000 customers that are using NAS today. We're driving to it's accelerating in its scale. We have connectivity to every single sports arena in the country and every single university sports arena in the country. So that means that we can connect to do things like live events in a way that no one else can.
Make sure you don't cut off my Chiefs coming next Sunday.
No, right? You don't need to worry about that. There is a SWAT team of people that descend upon Vegas to make sure that it all goes smoothly. But you know what? Thursday, can I say it? Yes, well, I'll say it anyway. Thursday Night Football, you wouldn't be able to watch it if it wasn't for us. It's on our network. I may have broken up a whole bunch of rules there, but you know what? Forgive me. The last thing is the way that we're helping business transform data movement, which we talked about a little while ago, but we have this edge network, we call a metro edge network around the country. It's 52 POPs that let us offer sub 5 millisecond latency to anywhere in North America, except for a very small wedge of Wyoming where there is nothing. But this gives us the ability to do things like be more performant with AI inference because of the fact that we have this super low latency to an enterprise or to a location. Plus, we then have fiber backhaul that we could go to the hyperscalers to actually run things like OpenAI prompts or watsonx queries. So, you know, those things there are massively transformative and massively help customers do, you know, help businesses grow. And we're making it more efficient.
Yeah, those are fantastic. Hey, I want you to talk more on the edge computing. You know, when I think about the largest fiber backbone in the world with Lumen, a lot of times you don't consider edge, but edge is key to your strategy. So I'd like you to talk a little bit more about that and how it all connects together.
I think at its very core, what we're doing is we're able to inject things like compute into data streams and allow us to do things that are sustainable efforts with data that's being moved around. Every state is starting to come out with their data sovereignty rules and their privacy rules and what you can do with data. Things like the edge allow us to put a thing in place, compute and storage in place, and work with companies like IBM to serve, those regulations as they come up. That edge allows you to inspect data, gives you the compute to be able to say, is this safe to move? Can we trim out things? In essence, that by itself is a massive value to companies. We're also transforming things like broadcast, in that we're far more performative and effective using things like edge to pick up broadcast signal, prepare it for air, and then move it on using our edge. Those are the things that when we think about edge and how it's helping, those are the areas that we're finding are the most effective.
So we hit the network piece, we hit the edge piece. We did earlier reference quantum, and I wanted to hit that. I mean, if anybody was wondering how innovative Lumen is, guys are pushing the limits and even exploring quantum.
We are working with multiple partners and again, this is actually because we're wholly owned, we can do this, to actually protect our network with quantum encryption. Multiple companies have got some fantastic technology, but again, they don't work without a network. That's what we bring to the table, and we can bring this technology and add another layer of protection on top of our various security features with things like QKD. And there's some very big companies that are not asking us to implement they're asking us to protect their entire network with quantum key distribution. It's becoming super important that companies can protect their data, and we're in a super unique position in being able to do that. That's really where we are with quantum is enabling partners with our network.
I don't know about you, but the quantum piece really worries me, and I'll tell you why. Is I know encryption's going to be broken. It's just a matter of when. And I think what ends up happening is a lot of times, good for the companies that are coming to you, making sure that they're taken care of. Because I think for other companies, it tends to be out of sight, out of mind. I hear a lot of FUD out there where people are saying, oh, we got time. I mean, they're thinking like year 2000 type stuff. It won't happen. It'll be good. And the issue with that is, and I think this latest DeepSeek type of scenario is a perfect example, right? Mm-hmm. Where you think, oh, we got time. And all of a sudden, we may find out it's not exactly what it seems, but let's go with it. I mean, DeepSeek comes out and they've done AI in a much different, more optimized way. Who's to say that going on right now behind closed doors is the same kind of DeepSeek, but for quantum? And all of a sudden, we're going to wake up someday, encryption is broken. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, oh no, what do we do? Because encryption is everywhere. People don't realize it's on your text. It's everywhere. If it's broken, you got access to everything unless you're a quantum safe, if you will.
Yeah, so it's super interesting you say that. I have a group of folks that I chat with that are security consultants, and they voice some of the same things, but they all have the same answer, which is you don't know what you don't know, and you can't just assume that one thing is going to solve your problem. So quantum is another layer of protection. We are already the watchers on the wall. Things like Black Lotus Labs allow us to watch all sorts of things and find all sorts of bad actors that we can then go out and use every tool available to take them down. So we already have those layers of protection in areas that our customers don't even realize, because it's done in that way to protect them. And now things like quantum, it's another layer. It's another thing that we're going to put on top of this to protect ourselves as much as possible. Do I go to sleep at night worrying? Yeah, a little bit. But what I think we need to realize is that it's not going to go away. So we need to implement the processes to make sure that we're protecting in as many different ways as possible. I think the point about using the edge to scrub data before it moves on to the cloud is exactly that, because it gives you an opportunity to do a review to say, hey, should we be moving this data? Should we be actually doing the things that we need to do? Are we doing the things that we need to do to make sure that we're only sending on the data that we need to train an AI model? And are we giving away our crown jewels in doing that? So again, it's a multi-layered solution that we need to keep expanding on. And I'm hopeful that there's something beyond quantum that'll give us yet another layer.
That's a great answer. It's not the first time you've answered that, I can tell. Very good. Very good. Hey, look, I want to pivot to a question on partnerships.
Yeah.
Anything, though, on the technology, whether it's, the fiber backbone, whether it's, your use cases, edge, quantum, anything that we left unsaid on the technology part that you want to make sure that we make?
Yeah. I think that there's a key message that is driving a lot of the work that we're doing. I'm not sure about you. I can tell you my experience from working in implementing projects. You do a whole bunch of requirements gathering, you figure out a solution, you go to a partner, you buy that partner's or you license that partner's technology, and then you sit there and wait while you wait for servers to arrive to get racked and then network to be set up and then all of these things to happen to be able to enable this value that you've decided you need. More often than not, that delay is actually hurting in many different ways because you're implementing technology that was 6 months ago for 6 months ago requirements. But what we're doing is we are rapidly deploying technology because we're pre-qualifying partners on our tech, on things like Edge, which means that we can roll deployment quickly and get to value quicker and allow requirements to change in a way that's organic. It's exciting to me because it did solve one of the problems that I had when I was working in Hollywood, which is we'd do something, we'd implement it 2 years later, and now we had a solution for 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Well, that problem has expounded since then. So now we can actually roll network, we can roll compute, we can roll storage very quickly, deploy the technology because we've already tested that it works, and actually have it up and running in a way that allows for solutions to be used quickly and continue to change to drive value because that technology is sitting there. I think that's the biggest thing that we need people to understand is this is about speed to market and speed to value.
It's something you can do that really, I don't know anybody else can do it.
I'm trying to find someone that could do it because we want a competitor, but there's no one else that can do it. ROI it's no longer an afterthought. It's available quickly now.
All right, I want to pivot to partnerships. I was very privileged to be able to come talk to one of your partner events. Thank you so much for that. Certainly a privilege. But I wanted you to say a few words on, you guys are really going all in around your partnership program or programs. And in fact, right before the call when we were going to get on here, I hit your partnership link. And the first thing that comes up, it says Supercharged Partnerships. And then it says Connect Sales meets disruptive AI innovation, discover brighter technology and bolder solutions that scale. Can you talk to why partnerships and some unique aspects of your partnership program?
So why partnerships? It goes to enabling companies and people 100% because, again, the conversation that we just had or the things that I just said about being able to roll network and things quickly, at the core of it is that we want to enable our partners to be successful. So what I'm doing with my group is we're taking partners and we're giving them the time to value that they need to be able to grow their companies. We have varied partnership programs that we run. Mine is really a co-sell motion, but we also have channel motions. There's many different things that hit the link on the website and we could talk about it more. But at its core, what we're doing is we are enabling our partners to be successful. I think that's the best way to put it. We want them to be the driver to put them in the driver's seat to be able to go get business and grow their business quickly and efficiently. That third leg of the stool, that's network. Well, we can take care of that. We can make sure that it works. We can secure it. We can manage it if you need us to, and we can deploy quickly, which our partners are saying, you know what, thank you, because now we have a predictable deployment architecture that we can support faster, easier, and better. And also, you're giving us an opportunity to get to market faster and to get to value for our customers, which is exactly what we need.
Do you have different levels within your partnership program?
The short answer is yes, and we're actually working on that and developing that further. So a lot more to come in the levels of partnership. For me, I have multiple partnership contracts that we can execute against, that we can help partners sell their products through a resell motion, or we have a motion that we can go in side by side. There's participation, so that if they're actually running on our network, we'll pay them an annuity to be able to do that. Again, it's give, get to everything, and we're trying to give the things that we know our partners need to be able to be successful. Start off small, where we can help them more, grow into these other programs and become more independent, and make some money along the way.
Everybody wins. So a couple more things I want to talk to you. This is more about you, just as we kind of wrap this up. This has been an incredible discussion, as I knew it would be. You talked a lot about culture, people, Brene Brown. If there's one leadership principle that you consistently follow, particularly given all the changes in the pace of change right now, I don't know if it's a fair question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
It's a totally fair question, and it's something that I ask of my people all the time. I think my principle is listen and do better every day. If you can listen and try to do better every day, you'll be able to learn what you need to do to be a better leader. I encourage acknowledging mistakes, not treating them as a problem, but treating them as a learning opportunity. I talked a little bit about finding the value, making sure that people are living their values. Diversity is good. Having a different point of view on a problem allows you to get to a better solution. Again, that's listening to these diverse opinions and diverse points of view. The thing that we do is we try to take the right calculated risk. We want to achieve results, and we know that there's a risk in anything that we do. We want to make sure that we're doing that in a calculated way. And honestly, we cut bait quickly when it's not looking like it's going to achieve. I don't know one thing, but it's really, when I boil it down, it's listen to my team and just encourage everyone to try to do better every day.
I think it's a perfect answer. You were ready for it too. Yeah, I'm all in on the diverse opinions. Some people can see that as a weakness. I surround myself with people certainly smarter than me. That's the goal. 100%. Once you get that, then you just ask them the questions. And I guess the only weakness is if you don't make a quick decision. You can still make a quick decision, but I can get all their viewpoints, and I always take something. Yeah. Like I was just meeting with a team member earlier this morning, actually, and she knew I had the answer, but I said, no, I want you to come up with the answer. I need you to tell me, because, and sure as heck, when she came up with the answer, I was like, oh, I didn't think of this little aspect. So now I got to add that. That's exactly why I asked you about your opinion.
Exactly. And I ask why a lot. Why are we doing that?
Because 5 whys.
Exactly. Why are we doing that? And if the answer isn't apparent, then that's the work that needs to be done, is to understand the why, again, for all the reasons that we talked about.
So what does Marco do for fun?
What do I do for fun? I'm an avid biker. So I'm on a mountain bike. I live in Reno, Nevada, which, if anyone knows where Reno is, we're very close to Lake Tahoe and the Sierras, which means I have got 1 billion single track bike paths right outside my door. And I road bike, which is fantastic. We're at, almost 5,000 feet. So it's a great exercise. It's beautiful country. I take photographs everywhere I go. I tried to do it on my iPhone, didn't work so well. So now I carry a little camera with me that I can just.
Why didn't the iPhone work so well?
I think it's a tactile thing. Having a camera in your hand that's got a lens that you click a button, it just feels more like I'm taking a photograph. Maybe I'm just old school.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, it makes sense.
But it's also framing and that's it's the action of doing it, I think, that makes it most exciting. And also I find myself taking photographs that I don't know why I'm taking a photograph. And when I go back, I see something that I subconsciously I saw that I didn't realize was there. So it creates these memory paths of things that I've gone through and things that I've done that allows me to remember specific moments and specific snapshots of things. I can't monetize because it's super hard.
I think I read, and I'm going to get this wrong, but I think cameras had a comeback traditional cameras had a comeback in 2024. That was one of the year-end things, I believe, where they sold more cameras last year or something than, I'm going to get this wrong. So people listening, you don't have to correct me. I mean, I'll figure it out. But it's like than the year 2000 or something. It was like amazing. And records too.
I can tell you, I went to London on a trip, and as I was walking along, I had my phone in my hand, and some guy on a bike whipped by and grabbed my phone and stole it. Now, insured, shipped me a new one, all of that. But I got so mad at that I was like, you know what? I'm not going to document this trip. I went to a camera store and I bought a camera to spite the person that stole my phone. And in doing so, I realized how exciting it is to have that tactile feeling of a camera on your hand.
I thought the English were supposed to be polite.
Yeah, well.
That's funny.
I think it depends where you go in England and who you talk to.
So one more question on that.
Sure.
Does AI worry you about the photographs and we're going to lose that art? What?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the question is, for me, why am I taking photographs? It's to document a moment in time that I can go back to and remember and think about and have that, oh my God, I remember that. That was a great moment. Because as I get older, I tend to forget things very quickly. AI is helping me tremendously because when that person that's picking their nose ends up in my picture, I can now remove them.
That's an advantage, no doubt.
Yeah, exactly. So you could tweak. You could tweak the photo and get rid of the things that are horrendous. I mean, intellectual property, I don't worry about that. I'm not concerned about AI taking over. I don't think it's going to replace the memories that photographs give you.
It's kind of like I do this podcast. You do it selfishly for yourself at first, and then it doesn't matter at the end of the day. I got it.
I tried to monetize. I thought about ways to monetize, and it's just very hard, And
do you sell them? Do you have a location where people, you may not make $1 million, but...
No, I'm thinking that's going to be a retirement thing.
I see.
that I set up a website and I sit there and I watch people visit, hopefully. But for now, it's for me and my family and to go back on and remember things that I did.
How long have you been in Reno? You must have been in Hollywood, so you were Southern California for a while.
4 years in Reno.
I see.
I was actually on the East Coast in DC working with a video game company. And then I left that job and I went to Microsoft, and then COVID hit. And then I lived in an RV for a year, and then someone told me about
RV for a year. That sounds interesting. With your son, with your kids?
No, he went off to college. So it was me and my dog. And then my kids phoned me up and said, if you want us to visit, you need to have a fixed address.
Darn it. Exactly. They spoiled it.
And I love it. I love it here.
Well, I'm not quite done yet. Okay. So you're going to think I'm stalking you, and I'm really not stalking you, but I hear your dad was a world-class chef. Is that true?
That is correct. Yep. I was an army brat without the army growing up. He was a chef for a big hotel chain. Born in England. My family's Italian, but we moved around the world, and I always went to English schools with English teachers and English kids because that's the expat life. And I spent every summer in Italy because my grandfather, who was a waiter in London, built a house there. And we'd go back and spend every summer. So I got to see the world. And maybe that's why I take photographs, because I'm used to seeing exciting new things all the time.
That's cool. I mean, the one thing IBM has afforded me is to be able to see the world, and you can't take that for granted. But world-class chef, what does that mean? I mean, does that mean that you're a world-class chef too, or what?
Are you stalking me? Because I don't think this is on any public website.
I do my research. Keep going.
Before I was in technology, I served an apprenticeship in a kitchen where I learned to be a chef. I served it under my father, which we could do a whole podcast around. But yeah, that's what I did before. But at the same time, I had a Commodore 64 when I was 14, and I was programming, and I had this love for technology, and it just made me, I was more attracted to technology than cooking for a career. I still cook every day. But
what is your best meal that you make?
I will defer to my kids because there's two things. One is I make a meat sauce of bolognese, which my mother's recipe that I've tweaked. But I make a meat sauce that my kids every time they come over, they're like, are you making the meat sauce?
No, I can eat really well, and I love food. So I'm a foodie, so that's awesome. Look, thank you, Marco, for being here. It's been a fabulous discussion. I learned a lot, and we'll have to have you on again. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much, Al. Chat soon.
Hey guys, hit us on almartintalksdata@gmail.com. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it, and I'll see you on the podcast. See y'all later.